Have you heard of this common phrase when you visit a doctor's office? You are under too much stress. Oftentimes, the word stress is not clearly being expressed. What do you mean by stress? Does it come in various forms or groups? What is stress? It's a distress of any kind that leads to the loss of homeostasis and can be categorized in multiple groups. The most common type of stress that we encounter nowadays in this modern toxic world is financial stress. There's also this peer pressure which can come from the office or your school. The fear of doing something, the anxiety, the worry, all this belongs to this emotional stress, or you can say as mental stress. There's this environmental stress coming from the air we breathe, the water we drink. The water we drink sometimes contains these heavy metals. There's also this PFAS, PFOS, or even microplastics. The food we eat nowadays contains a lot of GMO ingredients. They have a lot of pesticides. So all these are categorized under this xenobiotic. Your home and work environment might have mold, formaldehydes, and volatile organic compounds. Most of these environmental stress, which can eventually lead to cellular stress inside our body. When you consume a very high carbohydrate, high sugary diet, when you eat a lot of leftovers, which contains a lot of histamines, all these are creating cellular stress to our cells, our body. So our immune system will suffer and react to it. Side effects from prescription medications, your parasites, bacteria, yeast and fungi, all these can create a lot of havoc in our immune system. The most overlooked area is this physical stress. You can be someone working in an office. Then over time you develop this posture and ergonomic stress. Or it could be someone doing a lot of exercise. Then you have this overtraining, which leads to a lot of this muscle injury, fractures, or even nerve compressions. So when someone tells you that you are under stress, you will now know that stress can mean in various forms and different groups. I have given you tons of it. Even the Health and Natural Journal reported that 70 to 80% of the doctor's visits are stress-related illnesses. We all know that a little bit of stress here and there is good for us. It keeps us motivated to learn new things and to make progress in our life. The issues arise when you have all these small stress accumulated over time, which comes from various forms. It can be a food that you are ingesting every day, which can cause you this sensitivity, or it could be the room you're working in. There's a lot of mold or poor ventilations. Then you will lead to this chronic stress. Let us look at how stress cascades into different areas. They are like dominoes. It may start from your gut, then it slowly progresses into your immune system. When you have poor immune systems, you are more prone to having all these infections. So you have increased bacteria and parasites overgrowth. Then you'll start showing up as symptoms like your eczema or you have this poor healing. You might experience this chronic fatigue whereby you do not want to get out of the bed and you feel depressed. But these issues can be coming out from your gut also. Because the gut will actually cascade into other areas, then you have poor absorptions. When you have poor absorptions, you lack of all these nutrients, your minerals. One of it is your amino acids. Then you will lead to all these neurotransmitter productions. That's why you have these depressions. You also leads to this low energy because your body cannot produce ATP, the energy. Now you see it's all interlinked inside your body. It's never a standalone system. Then when you have these particular symptoms that show up, most conventional doctors will just treat your symptoms and not looking at other areas. If you have eczema or hives, the doctor will prescribe you with this anti-itch cream or antihistamine pills. If you are having a fever, then they will try their best to bring your temperature down to the normal. Or maybe they will ask you whether you have cough or sore throat. And if you have migraines, diarrhea, X symptoms, Y symptoms, basically your doctors will have all the recipes you need to make your symptoms go away. Do you agree? Some people might feel the relief after seeing their doctor. But after some time, the symptom will just come back with a vengeance or maybe with new symptoms. So what happens if you're not looking at the upstreams, the underlying issues or the root causes? Your affected body system will start to perform slower. inefficiently, then you start to slowly progress to this dysfunction. The time frame may vary individually. If it's not corrected or properly supported, it might eventually proceed to this disease or symptomatic stage, and your body is slowly breaking down. When couples or newlywed wants to have a baby, they do not have any idea which stage they are in at the moment. Very few of them are being told to have their baseline or blood work checked. They won't even know they are constantly under stress. And if they are under stress, the body is so smart that you will conserve all the energy away from non-survival activities and focus intense activity for the use by our central nervous systems and skeletal system so that we can handle stressful situations. So you might be asking, what's all these non-survival activities? They are like digestions, having sex, and making babies. You do not want to have babies when you are being chased by lions, do you? Do you see the reason why now? When you're under stress, it's usually harder for you to conceive. And all the stress can come in all different areas as mentioned earlier. So let me give you a very interesting example. When you are under stress, your non-survival activities, digestions, is not working. So you are not able to absorb all these minerals, cofactors, and amino acids. Then you actually slow down your methylation cycle. Then you affect your antioxidant productions, your glutathione. Your glutathione is essential because it's needed to process hydrogen peroxides. So when hydrogen peroxide is being built up, guess what? You have a lot of gray hair showing up. So people just link when you have stress, you will start showing more gray hair. But this is the actual process of why you have all this gray hair. Common traits and behavior when someone is under sympathetic dominance, meaning that they are always under stress. They can focus very well and they are very highly motivated. But they tend to be very hyperactive and very irritable. While on the opposite spectrum, the parasympathetic dominance, meaning that they do not have a lot of stress all the time. They will tend to procrastinate a lot. They are slow to anger, but most of the time they feel very lethargic. So you see, it's all about balance. You do not want to have too much stress, neither do you want to have no stress at all. I've come up with this physical tendency chart for you as a reference. Ultimately, this is just a guide. You need to consider some other underlying factors and how your gene is being expressed. Okay, we come to the end of this video. Remember that symptoms are not the problem. They are actually the byproducts from what's upstream. So always reduce and remove the known stressor. Then restore with good nutrition, your exercise, your stress reductions, and some useful supplements. If you like this video, you may also want to check out my playlist over here.